Hi, I'm Phil. I'm with a company called Buttcracker Baits. We're out of Wasilla, Alaska. In fact, today we're here with a friend of mine's bait shop called Three Rivers Flying Tackle in Wasilla, Alaska. But I came to you today, I want to talk to you a little bit about a lure that I designed a few years ago. It's called the Buttcracker, but I want to get a little bit into the reason that I designed this lure. The reason that I designed this lure is because most baits that are fished for halibut and lingcod and other things, the only way you can get them to make noise is you beat them on the bottom. And what happens when you beat them on the bottom, you're going to eventually lose them. So I came up with an idea. I know that there's flashy colors on the market and there's scent, but there was nothing that was making noise. So I came up with the idea on how to make a lure make noise, because I know that a fish has three senses. He has the sense of sight, the sense of smell, and also the sense of hearing. And the baits that we do, they trigger all three of his predator instincts. And let me say another thing about these baits. They're all made in America. They all have glow-in-the-dark skirts on them, and they all work. They work with, we've caught halibut on them, we've caught lingcod, we've caught yellow-eyed rockfish. In fact, the third largest yellow-eyed rockfish that's ever been caught on rod and reel was caught on this particular bait a couple of years ago. Now, these baits work for all kinds of bottom fish. It doesn't matter if it's a grouper or if it's a halibut or whatever kind of bottom fish you're fishing with. They will hit this because of the way that it's designed, and that it does trigger that predator instinct. And I know as a fisherman that if I can trigger that fish's predator instinct, in the long run, I'm going to catch more fish. Okay, first off, I want to talk to you about one of our lures that's called the Buttcracker. And we designed this bait to be fished for halibut. That's how we got the name Buttcracker, because it makes a cracking noise, and we're fishing for butts up here. They call them slang, we call them butts. But I want to introduce you and show you the lure. This is the 8-ounce bait. This is new for this year. And what this one does is it's just like the others. It makes that noise. Now, we've had great success with this. We tried one of these baits off the East Coast and caught lots of fluke. It did really well. It did really well. And one of the other ones that we made new this year was is the 24-ounce. Now, we made this one for areas like Alaska, like Cook Inlet, that have lots of current, where you want to get it down there deep. Well, obviously this one will work. And we also make a 12-ounce, we also make a 16, and we make a 20. They all do the same and they all work. It just depends on you as a fisherman, your conditions that you're going to be fishing in. If you're going to be fishing in an area where you've got a big tidal surge, you want to go with a heavier bait. But I've always found that the lighter the bait that I can fish with, the more sensitive it is. And another thing I wanted to tell you about the 8-ounce. We've caught lots of fish through the ice. We've caught big pike, we've caught big lake trout. Now let me tell you, this is a bait that's designed for big fish. So, you know, you have to have good equipment, and it needs to have strong line on it. And this is the way that it works. Now, you know, if you're fishing a standard jig, and you know that you're moving that jig up and down off the bottom like that, well, you're going to be making some noise. Because as that bait moves the water, it's going to put out vibrations. But what you do with this one, instead of just jerking it up and down, and you can jerk it up and down and it'll work, it'll catch fish. But the way that I've found the best way to fish it is to hold it in one spot and you just shake your rod like that. Then what I will do is I'll start it off 5 or 10 feet off the bottom, and I'll pop it like that, then I'll jerk it up quick. Okay, folks, I want to talk to you about one of the devices that we make that we call the inline jig rig. It's I call it the FCI, which means Buttcracker inline. Now this can be used in any kind of lure that you want to put on it. As you can hear it, it makes a metallic sound. Now, a metallic sound sounds a lot better than a rock rolling around or even a lead jig bouncing off the rocks. Now, you can take this, and we use it for ice fishing. We've caught some very large lake trout up here. We've used it on the East Coast with a jig like this, regardless of the size. This one is like a 16 ounce. This is what we use for halibut and lingcod and yelloweye up here in Alaska. You just simply attach it to this, you put on whatever kind of a tail you want, and it is dynamite. It works really good. Okay, I would like to talk to you now about a lure that we designed called the Predator. Now this is this has an FCI inside of it, and as you can hear it, it makes that metallic sound. And this is not ball bearings inside of here that are rolling around. It actually has a device. That's why it makes so much more noise. And I want to tell you one of the things about when you're trolling this that makes it so effective is that if you're trolling it fast enough, it will jump out of the water, and each time it jumps and hits the water, it makes that popping noise. Now another way to fish this is if you're fishing around the rigs down off the coast of Texas. You can cast this and jerk it along so it looks like a squid swimming through the water. Very effective. I'd like to talk to you about another device that we make that we call the bait rig. This bait rig has a circle hook on it. It has a little small glow in the dark. So a lot of people like to fish with bait. So I made something that's effective and works real good, and that it adds noise to it. This has the same device in it that makes that metallic sound. And the metallic sound is important because it sounds a lot like an injured baitfish, or it sounds like a crab or something else. Now what we've done with this is we have a 2-pound weight on here. And what I have in between this swivel on the top and the device itself, I have a corkscrew swivel that slides up and down the line. Now this is a 2-pound weight. You can use any size that you like. You know, up here in Alaska, sometimes with the current, sometimes you have to have a 4-pound, 5-pound weight to keep it down. But what I want to tell you about that is when you've got current, as you drop this bait down, what's going to happen is it'll go out like this. And when it goes out like that, all you have to do is jerk it. And when you jerk it, it makes that noise. It makes that rattle to it. And it greatly increases your chances because you're getting the fish's attention. The reason that I designed these lures is because there's nothing on the market like this. This is totally new. There are lures that you can make noise with, that you beat them off the bottom or something else, but this lure has the ability to make noise by itself. Nobody else makes one like this. All of my baits are made in America. They're all made from stainless steel. They're machined in Dallas, Texas, and they're shipped up here to me in Wasilla, Alaska, and I assemble them here.